the fifth week of the TSN Classic Bowl Championship. Randy Peterson alongside as always. We started out with 105 bowlers. We have whittled it down now to the Strike 16, our version of the Sweet 16. And here are the games and the shows that you will see over the next 4 weeks. Now, in each of those shows, out of those games, you'll see the winners will play off to grab one of the quarterfinal spots. We'll also take the highest non-winning score to make a stepladder 5 to determine this year's champion. So we saw a high of 267, the lowest score of the qualifiers, 179. What did you see in the first 4 weeks?
Well, I saw that in these one-game matches, splits and missed spares proved to be disastrous. So the players that were able to stay out of trouble and manage their game, well, they moved on. The other thing I saw, Vic, was that power was king. And that was evident by the fact that Sean Patterson, remember, he started with the front 8 strikes. Right. He shot 267, which is the highest game thus far in match play. Yeah,
timing is everything. That open frame at the wrong time is a pin count killer. So here is today's matchup, and we will see the number 1 seed coming in, Sean Patterson against Robert Brace, while Ryan Seton plays Jojo Copon. The winners to meet to pick up that first quarterfinal spot. Welcome back to the Classic Bowl in Mississauga, Ontario. This is the TSN Classic Bowl Championship. We're down to the Strike 16, and in this opening game, it'll be our number 1 ranked Sean Patterson coming off that 267 when he rattled off 8 straight strikes to play Robert Brace, our last of the non-winning qualifiers, scored a 179 and got a couple of strikes in 10 to get him to that 179, that cutoff point. And so it will be Patterson to get us going.
Let's go, baby. Continue from where you left off.
And where he left off was that wonderful game, Randy, with those 8 strikes to start.
Yeah, he made him look pretty easy, didn't he?
Ooh, crossover.
And he did cross over, and it'll leave the 5.
That's adrenaline and being too pumped up there to start this match, which is
tacky. Get used to your timing.
Talking about tacky, being the lane itself?
The lane
or the approach?
Trust it.
The lane being a little tacky in the middle part of the lane, and also the approaches. Lanes are freshly dressed. The approaches are cleaned. Players had enough practice, though, Vic, to get a feel for what the lanes are doing and what the approaches are doing. I think a lot of it is just early nerves.
Rattle, 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 and it will not go.
How about new life for Robert Brace? He thinks he's out of the tournament. His 179 score holds up, and he's back for a second go.
So both bowlers opening with spares to start. Robert losing to Terry Krawick in our first game of week 1. And you know, you talked about the difficulty of his game against Krawick. He had the open in 4. He'd had a strike, a couple spares, then an open, and a couple of strikes and a spare, and then open. But it was that 10th where he put together a couple of strikes that got him to 179 and kept him alive. But you know, no consistency, no real good pin count.
Well, he doesn't have a very good ball reaction on this oil pattern. 39 feet in length. The oil pattern is, remember, the lane is 60 feet in length. And you can see early on that he's having trouble getting to the 1-3 pocket.
Good cover for Robert Brace to pick up back-to-back spares.
Yeah, that's a really good cover on the 3, 6, 9, 10. But for Robert, I watched him in practice, and when he threw the ball to the right, it hung. It didn't get back to the pocket, so what he tries to do then is kind of square up his line, and then it goes high. So it's going to be a tall order for him to start stringing strikes. He's got to find a home.
Boy, you got a good tap on the 10.
Gotta trust it. Gotta trust it. Gotta trust it. It will come back.
Take a look at how Sean creates all this power. See the hand open up at the top of the backswing, and then he just snaps and rolls that wrist right around that bowling ball. And that snapping action is what creates the revs. But Vic, I think what you're going to see early on in this first match is until the oil travels down towards the pins and kind of settles in, the players are going to have to be real precise to get their bowling balls to the pocket. Once the oil pushes down, they'll have a little bit more help, a little bit more hold area left of target. But until that oil carries down, the lane conditions, the oil pattern is going to be a little sensitive.
There you go. There you go.
He likes it, and he should like it. Sean Patterson.
You know, we talk about putting power and revolutions on a bowling ball, and the reason is so you can carry off hits, meaning when the ball's not perfectly in the 1-3 pocket.
Got to match him? Yes, he does. Sean Patterson, Robert Brace, and the winner, of course, will move on to play either Ryan Seton or Jojo Copon for the first qualifying spot in our 5-man stepladder. Better? A lot better.
When you see a player start to kind of run it out as soon as it leaves their hand, Vic, that's a pretty good indication that they like it, and rightly so. This shot here is perfect. A little bit less speed, gets his hand up the back, rolls it really nice. Now watch the change of direction down the lane, and that's what we call drop and give me 10. It's starting early, buddy.
Thank you. So now Patterson needing to respond after his open. What's he got?
It looked good when you threw it.
Sean Patterson's in trouble. That one he liked off his hand. He got it to the spot he wanted to get it to, and it never returned.
Come on. Come on.
So now he's left talking to himself. Back-to-back open frames in 5 and 6.
Remember, this is our #1 seed. The man that shot 267 front 8 right now doesn't have back-to-back strikes through 6 frames, only 1 strike for the entire game. Here's a ball change. Let's see what type of adjustment he makes.
Better?
There you go.
Yes. Now, when changing that ball, he's looking to do what?
He went to a stronger ball, something that's going to give him more reaction. He moved in, and he threw that ball with conviction. He knew it was going to hook more. He gave it the room necessary to the right, and as you saw, that ball just wheel back to the pocket. So he's going with more hook.
Now, remember as well, you know, we talk about the 4 winners over the course of 4 weeks. Also, you'll try to, if you should not win, be one of the highest non-winning score. That would get you into the final 5. But look at Robert Brace now, starting to find the range. Back-to-back strikes.
Pretty good shot there. Now, here's the key for Robert Brace. He's pumped up now. He's got a double. He's got a big lead. He needs to take a deep breath, settle down, don't get ahead of himself, because the tendency right now is to get real excited, and the next shot out of your hand, you heave it 100 miles an hour down the lane.
And of course, speed was his concern early. Oh boy. Oh boy, did he get away with one there. He hit that really high.
That was a huge, huge break. This ball as Brooklyn trips the 6 out. When you're on a double and you do that against your opponent, it's big.
Looking for back-to-back. Patterson, no. Oh, what a huge trip on 10.
Well, there's a 33-pin deficit that Sean Patterson is facing, and it could have been a lot worse if he didn't roll the 10-pin on this shot.
Yes. Thank you. Now needs a spare. Got to come around. Oh, man,
Dangerous.
alive.
Get your balance.
How long this stays out there? Come on, baby.
That bowling ball's looking for some friction.
Oh.
Max score for Sean Patterson if he were to strike out 9th and 10th frame, 191. Robert Brace is already in the 200s.
No.
So much over under.
For him, meaning what? Over, under.
He gets it a bit to the right too early. The ball overreacts. Gets it in. It underreacts. Does not like his ball reaction at all.
It's hard to believe your game can go sour so badly. You know, he comes in with that 267, rolls 8 in a row. Thought we were heading towards the perfect game, and today he can barely find the rack.
Robert Brace with a spare here and strike spare in the 10th frame. He's going to shoot 203. He is moving on. Sean Patterson, he can strike out for 178, and then he's got a hope.
Well, we heard earlier that Sean Patterson say that he thought the approach was a little sticky.
Robert Brace needs 9 pins and 2 balls to advance.
Oh, no.
This is getting interesting.
No.
He needs 2.
No.
2 pins. If he gets 1, Sean Patterson can strike out and we'd have a tie.
And then I believe it's a 2-frame roll-off. Needs 2. Got 2. Has them.
Good job, buddy.
Wow. Got real interesting.
Betcha I strike out.
Pulls a 180. Robert Brace. Sean Patterson, number 1 coming in.